Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Milk Theory Podcast. We are here at the ADPI conference, and I am so excited to be sitting here with one of the most famous females in dairy. She's an oracle of all things industry trends. Donna Berry, welcome to Milk Theory.
Thank you so much for having me, Reese.
Absolutely. Now, everybody knows you here, but for someone who is just getting started in the industry, tell me a little bit about your journey, what your background is, and why milk and why dairy?
Well, it's a very good question, and the story is probably a little boring, but hey, you asked. So, I am from Chicago, which is where we are. I am born and raised in the city. I am such an urban person that, I don't even know how to step on a farm, right? But I've always loved dairy, and when I went to university, and I'm a food science major, I was introduced to the science of dairy and really just connected. Just believed in the nutrition, the cows, the soil, the earth, it's very maternal. And there was just some kind of connection there. Now, to help with the fact that I'm an urban girl, prior to the pandemic, I did used to volunteer at the farm and the zoo at Lincoln Park Zoo here, and I would teach kids about where food comes from, and I loved the story about, dairy products, and I would always ask the question, where does chocolate milk come from? And these are city kids, and they would all say the store.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Or they'd say a brown cow, and then I would have to explain it to them.
Explain it.
So,
okay.
But I 30 years of being in dairy.
30 years. Okay, and you've seen probably a lot of growth and innovation far beyond just milk at this point. What has been the most pivotal development over your career that you've seen in as to where we've arrived and where we're going?
Technology, as in the nature of manufacturing and processing ingredients, food products, that has just really, there have been so many advancements in the last 20 years, and also an industry that was willing to explore these technologies to create value-added products. It's, as they say, it's not your granddaddy's farm anymore or granddaddy's processing, and it took an entire generation to kind of, retire and let the newbies come in, and but everyone's embracing it. So the biggest change, I guess, would be is that it's not just white stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's and it's a great thing, and we're here.
Yes, we're here. We're here.
And somehow milk and dairy made it to the top of the inverted food pyramid. I have to tell you that when that happened,
yes,
and when whole milk got back into schools, I cried.
No way.
I was like, I have no purpose anymore, because I'm this is what I've been wanting is,
yes,
and consumption figures are up, production figures are up, innovation is up. I'm like, I have no purpose. And then I realized, yes, I do, because we can't let this momentum stop.
Yes.
We have to keep going. And,
yes.
And we are on a great trajectory to keeping, dairy really pretty darn cool.
Absolutely. I love that. I was actually going to ask you about that inverted food pyramid. You've a key influencer in this space for helping milk probably arrive there over the past 30 years. So that's pretty amazing. Tell me about how significant that changes now that they flipped it on top. What's the real world impact? You said they're putting it in schools. What else?
The real world is you could tell consumers what to do. They could know what they should be doing, and are they actually doing it? I don't know, but I heard this from a millennial, or actually I guess a young millennial who is an entrepreneur startup in the dairy space. And I'm not going to say names or brands.
Right.
But he said to me, dairy is back and where it should be. He goes, and shame on all of the plant-based people for duping us.
Yes.
He said, as a younger consumer, he's like, I grew up in, he grew up in a household where his mom believed in plant-based this and that and cutting back on dairy and, milk is the reason why you have acne, so stop consuming it, or this and that. And he goes, and I was duped. I was sold on, what did he call it? Food shaming or food washing.
Food washing.
Food
okay.
washing.
Interesting. That's a new term. I love that.
Food washing, yeah. And so he goes, and people aren't stupid anymore with social media. That messaging gets out really quickly, you know. And he goes, and so thankfully, the correct science. The science is there supporting dairy, and the social media presence is there, and dairy is where it should be. So,
absolutely.
It's just,
Yeah, what would you say about, that's interesting that you brought up the plant-based thing. They've had very compelling storylines that they've utilized. And what do you think the dairy industry can or should do differently? Do they need to be more active on social media in their promotions? Or is it a branding thing? Is it a messaging thing? The science sounds like it is settled, or like we've figured out a lot of components in relation to that. But in terms of messaging, what are we missing?
We can never stop the communication cycle, which is why I am not out of a job. Because it's constant, and it's also constant reminding. I gave this example a few weeks ago in the blog I wrote, and also when I spoke at the ice cream conference a couple weeks ago. And I gave the example of about 30 years ago when ready-to-drink refrigerated orange juice was really gaining traction. And those manufacturers decided to take on fluid milk in the breakfast space. So what did they start doing? They started adding calcium and vitamin D to orange juice, so that people who didn't want dairy, they would still get their bone-building nutrients. Well, up until that point, dairy and fluid milk specifically owned the bone-building message.
Yeah.
And then these orange juice people came in, and guess what the dairy industry did? Nothing.
They just sat on it.
They just kind of were like, oh, well, this really stinks that they're doing it. But what they needed to do was go back and get that science and put it out there and show how the dairy matrix and how those nutrients being delivered through milk make a difference versus putting calcium and vitamin D into orange juice. Like, you actually need the fat in milk to better digest the fat-soluble vitamin D.
Yes.
But we didn't do anything. But guess what? Now we are doing stuff. And so that messaging needs to continue. And the research is still, so much of it is still in its infancy as far as the dairy matrix goes, and how, dairy delivers nutrition differently than those nutrients in a pill. But we're getting there. So there's no slowing down.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little about those nutrients and the conference that you recently spoke at, and some of the topics you covered. One of them was protein, and protein's it's a hot topic right now. It's everybody's favorite. I read in a recent blog of yours that you're talking about people who have demanded just more protein, whatever, at all costs kind of thing. And now there's this thing called protein optimization. What is that?
Well, for starters, protein still comes with calories. So people are eating all this protein, and depending upon the delivery vehicle of the protein, they're still getting maybe unnecessary calories. Like, I hate to say this and to pick on any one brand, but I really have to do this. Doritos should not have protein added to them. That is wrong. Pop-Tarts should not be protein fortified. There's a space for these foods. This should not exist.
Okay.
So, if you're eating Doritos, you're still getting a bunch of calories and stuff. So what is starting to happen or starting to evolve is the emphasis on the protein quality, the nutrient density of the food that is delivering that protein.
Okay.
And that's where we're going. What I find really interesting is that for a long time, it's been taking place in the sports nutrition market, where specific amino acids are being called out on ingredient labels, because especially bodybuilders, they want to make sure they have the branched chain amino acids, so this is being called out on labels. But in sports nutrition, starting to see it showing up in mainstream food products.
Really?
Quite a few brands in Europe are doing it, mainly on like nutritional beverages, but meant for the common folk, like a meal replacement shake or something like that, and they're showing the amino acid profile so that consumers can get a better grasp on the quality of the protein, and they can optimize their intake versus, against the calorie content of a product. Again, Doritos shouldn't have protein.
I see.
That says it all.
That doesn't. Yeah, that's an interesting combination as well. I mean, tell me a little bit about what this Nu-stalgia thing is that you're picking up on. What does that even mean?
It's actually been going on pretty much since COVID, kind of like when sourdough came back and everyone was just really into making sourdough bread. And I can tell you, I never did it.
Neither did I.
It sounds like way too many carbs for me. And, I had this nightmare of like all this bread being like, you don't know what to do with it. That's what was happening. But that was bringing something from the olden days back. And so Nu-stalgia is nostalgic foods or concepts, but with a more edgy twist to them right now. And the idea being like, you want to try something new, we have adventurous palettes for new flavors, different cuisines, even cooking styles, but in a familiar format maybe, so you're not as vested into trying something completely different.
Yeah.
And that's the Nu-stalgia. And it's showing up. It's actually, what's really interesting is it's showing up even in the non-alcoholic beverage space. And that actually might even be one of the primary drivers of it too, because you're trying to make something, like a non-alcoholic piña colada. But I mean, piña coladas have been around forever, but you're not going to ever get that perfect taste.
Yes.
So what do? You throw in a little twist so that it's piña colada, but with a banana, a caramel banana swirl.
Oh, okay.
So then all of a sudden, you're not...
That expectation.
Right, your expectation of a piña colada isn't what the real piña colada tastes like because of this caramelized banana swirl. So it's something familiar with something new, a twist.
Okay.
And that's all about Nu-stalgia.
So I get it. Okay, that is such an amazing term that I'm going to be using more in the future.
Well, it's like I say, it's kind of to hide the fact that the product is a little maybe better for you, or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Totally. What do you mean when you say like now people are everyone loves chocolate? Where are you seeing that industry? You said chocolate cravings with bits and pieces.
Well, that is more because of the economic issue right now.
Yes.
So chocolate ice cream. Granted, there's still full chocolate, triple chocolate, double chocolate, ice creams and products out there, but they're really a little pricey right now because of the economics of chocolate. So what formulators are doing is turning to creative ways of just using bits and pieces of chocolate to satisfy those chocolate cravings.
I see. Okay, inserting that format. Okay, that makes total sense. Now, I know you're a big advocate for like women's health as well. How is dairy supporting that?
Well, first of all, I'm going to take one step back and just say, when I was talking about the whole bone building nutrient package, when I was a little girl, I can remember seeing, and this is not in any way meant to be offensive to anyone, but there were a lot of old people, there are always a lot of old people, but a lot of old women who were completely hunched back because they had osteoporosis or sarcopenia, and their bones were fragile and they were hunched. Now, we were taught very young, my generation, and I'm almost 60 years old, but we were taught, consume your dairy for bone density. Consume. You look around today, you're not seeing people with those issues, or not many of those people, people with those issues. It was a very familiar sighting back in the day.
Okay.
So bringing that back to women's health, I really feel like it's very critical that messaging starts getting communicated again. It's almost like we forgot how important it was and it needs to be brought back to life. And it's there, but in a much more aggressive fashion.
Really? Okay.
So in addition to all of that, the whole fat, whole milk, we're getting nutrients in there that we don't even know that we're getting yet because we haven't done, the science isn't there yet, but the bioactives, the different, little molecules that are present, like milk fat globule membrane, which is going to be present in whole milk, that has positive effects on hormonal replacement.
Oh, okay. yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
But we don't even know some of that.
Oh, okay.
And so it's still, a lot of that research is in its infancy, but there's been some data out there. So there's a lot to do. I mean, again, like I say, dairy is very maternal, and it's very,
yes.
There's something about it.
Yeah, there's something about it, and there's a way to message that where it could be where it could fit naturally into women's health, and that's amazing. The extent at which it can support it. That is really, really fascinating. My goodness. Well, I know you're very busy, but I do have just a few more questions.
Sure.
One of the, what are you seeing now in terms of just like in the world of ice cream? Our sponsors, Idaho Milk Products, is actually building an ice cream plant, and they're focused on novelties, and along with a better-for-you type ice cream. Where do you see just the world of ice cream right now and where it's going?
Well, first of all, that's a great place and space to be in.
Okay.
Novelty, single serve is a great size to provide either limited amount of calories in order to satisfy a sweet craving, or if you're going on the more functional health avenue, it then also guarantees that you're delivering the promised amount of nutrition.
Yes.
So whereas ice cream is always going to, I shouldn't say always going to, it should always still be delicious.
Yeah,
like we can't make it. There are some categories like nutrition bars where people are willing to compromise somewhat on taste just because they know they're getting all this great nutrition. Ice cream just can't be that way. It is meant to be enjoyed.
Yes.
But you can do so much with it. And there's a brand out there right now that I know has 4-ounce cups of probiotic and prebiotic enriched ice cream. And it's a higher protein product as well, but they're not skimping necessarily on the calories because they're still putting a layer of chocolate on the top of it. So when I talk bits and pieces, they're still getting that in there. And there's still a flavor, an indulgence factor with the flavors that they're using, but they're putting all this other health stuff in there.
Yes.
And the beauty of that 4-ounce cup is you're getting what they're promising you, like X amount of probiotics, 5 grams of fiber, 15 grams of, protein.
Okay.
So definitely I see a lot more going on in the novelty space, and also formulating or designing ice cream products maybe even for different day parts. Why couldn't you have
different, say that again?
Day parts.
Okay.
Why couldn't you have breakfast ice cream?
Heck.
With fruit.
Yeah.
With granola.
Absolutely. I'm down for that. Let's start a movement. That'd be perfect.
Maybe that's my new purpose.
On my pancakes.
Ice cream.
Yes. Ice cream. Leading the march.
For breakfast.
I love it. Ice cream for that's great.
I go from getting whole milk into schools to now pushing ice cream for breakfast. I'm not sure that will make it onto the into the school system.
Yeah, that might be a push. Yeah, you never know.
Hey,
anything's possible. Anything's possible with dairy. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Donna, this has been absolutely wonderful to have you. Where can people find you and your content? If they don't know, as I said, they should. You're a cornerstone in this industry on staying on top of what's new.
Well, I do like to say that my business is B2B, and I really try to keep consumers away from it as well, but there are many that still read my stuff because it's unavoidable.
Absolutely.
My newsletter is Daily Dose of Dairy, and the website is berryondairy.com. And Berry, as every time I check into a hotel or a place, I go, like a strawberry, a blueberry, a blackberry, raspberry, but I'm a Donna Berry.
Donna Berry, I love it, yes.
So it's Berry. And yeah, the newsletter is free. I basically provide readers info on new products, innovations, ingredient technologies, marketing, merchandising, distribution, anything that just keeps it going.
Absolutely.
So, and Idaho Milk Products is one of my great sponsors and supporters, so thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for what you guys are actually contributing to the industry too, because you guys are on the forefront of innovation with your circular manufacturing of ingredients and your sustainability efforts. And
thank you,
you know, that's the future of dairy, and it's pretty darn cool.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. We totally agree, and we're so happy to have you, and we appreciate you taking the time. This has been the Milk Theory Podcast with Donna Berry. We will see you again soon.